So we live in the northwest of British Columbia, Canada, in Gitxsan territory. A lot of people here think we can't grow a lot of food, and that's not true. In fact, over 100 years ago, Indigenous people here were growing an incredible amount of food, and they were sending that food and trading it with other people, and they were doing quite well as farmers.
So a main goal of your farm is to promote Indigenous food sovereignty. So can you explain the difference between food security and food sovereignty?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are some big differences between food security and food sovereignty. Here we are an Indigenous farm, and we've adopted the UN definition of food sovereignty, which actually comes from nations in Africa that have a lot of the same or similar challenges that Indigenous nations have in Canada around food security, and food sovereignty. So the main difference is, like I said, food security is how much food you have. You have more food, you're more food secure. Food sovereignty is more complicated. It's about, do you have the people to grow your food? So number one, food sovereignty values food producers and values people who know about food and medicine. And that's all kinds of food. That's not just farming, that's fish, that's hunting, that's medicinal plants. So valuing food providers and people who know how to grow food is a big part of food sovereignty. Another one is around the rules around food. So a lot of people don't know, but there are certain governments that impose rules, both internationally and nationally, regionally, locally, that can get in the way of people being able to grow food. So policy is an important part of sovereignty, meaning if we are food sovereign, we can decide our own rules around food production. One example is that in some countries, it's illegal to save your seeds. They want you to go and buy new seeds every year. And that's part of controlling the food system, whereas a food sovereignty principle is you can't do that. That's up to people who are growing the food. If they want to save seeds, they can. Another thing that food sovereignty values is nutrition, the nutrition of the food, that it be high quality, not just growing a lot of food, but growing healthy food. Another thing is the education component, that we're able to pass on our knowledge to each other, from me to you, but also generation to generation. So the knowledge is an important part of food sovereignty. I just also want to add that Indigenous control of land and food production is considered by the United Nations to be a key part in fighting climate change. So a lot of the work we're doing with food sovereignty, it's about bringing back, valuing people, bringing back skills and knowledge, growing healthy food, control of the land, and doing it locally so that we are fighting climate change.
I want to just thank you so much for the work that you're doing and for chatting to us today all about farming. I am sure everyone watching will have learned so much. I know I have.
Yeah, you're welcome. Take care.